Okay then guys, welcome to a different type of video. Today I've been doing a lot of these little squad, little building kind of things here, putting teams together based around things. If you enjoyed that guys, I did 2 England related ones on my channel. If you want to go and check that out, feel free to do so. Here we are with my ultimate Arsene Wenger team. So this is a team I put together of players that are still currently playing, that I have fond memories of at Arsenal, and yeah, you know, pretty much just that. But yeah, this is my kind of own little opinion here. Now there'll probably be players in here and you'll be like, what? I'm going to explain each one, and then I want you guys, any fellow Arsenal fans, or if you want to take part anyway, let me know some of the players that I've missed out. I've basically chosen players that are still available to play, obviously, because I'm using FIFA 18 here. So I couldn't really talk about other players as well, that if I haven't got a card for them. But here we go. The goalkeeper I've gone for to kind of make the starting 11 is Petr Cech. And the reason I've put Cech in, I mean, without a doubt, Chelsea got the best out of Petr Cech, but he is still a fantastic goalkeeper, and he's still insanely needed and rated at Arsenal. Possibly harshly criticised by many Arsenal fans, but the fact of the matter is we have had a lot worse over the years, and you know, it's taken us a while really to get, you know, probably since Seaman, to get another good goalkeeper. I have put another one in, by the way, he's right at the end, we'll talk about him in a bit. But it's taken us a while to get another goalkeeper of that level, of that top class level. And whether or not, you know, you could argue that he's not really there anymore, he has the experience, and he is a fan. Never that, you know, for what we got him for, he's an absolute gem to Arsenal Football Club. Moving on, I've gone for the full-back of Arsene, one of my favourite right-backs to watch over the years at Arsenal. Currently playing in the Italian league, as you can see there. And yeah, I was really, really gutted to see him go. I never really knocked him for going though, because he spent a big time at Arsenal, and yeah, he was a good servant throughout the years. Obviously, when I first started watching Arsenal, I think our fullback at the time was Lauren, if you guys remember him. Obviously, he doesn't have a card, so I couldn't put him in the game. But yeah, I mean, to go from him and Sanya, almost probably did live up to his level. Absolute, a true Arsenal man for me, Arsene. Next up, we have got Laurent Koscielny, the current Arsenal captain. I mean, he really doesn't play much, so yeah, Laurent Koscielny, guys, just came to Arsenal as, you know, just a decent French defender from the French league, and look at what he's become under Arsene Wenger. He's become a leader. I'm going to talk about it again in a minute when I bring Mertesacker up, but you guys remember the season that Koscielny and Mertesacker had together, when they were both like proper at it. I can't remember where, I think we finished 3rd maybe that season. But yeah, like the season they had, they were named the best centre-back pairing that season. They were that good together, that good, and it was mainly down to Koscielny, not gonna lie. We'll talk about Per in a little bit, but Koscielny has well and truly become another true icon of this football club. Next up, I've gone for Verminator. His time with us was short-lived, but he definitely was a joy to watch. He was our captain for a little while, and oh god, what a player! I remember, I think he scored, I think it was against Newcastle, his goal was, and it was like absolutely insane. He just from nowhere just had an absolute rifle of a shot for a defender. Flipping insane, absolutely insane. I think his time at Arsenal fell apart because of injuries, and you know, the injuries sort of affected his playing abilities. Wasn't as good as perhaps he was before. which was a shame. But yeah, he's definitely a player that I'll always remember being under Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. My left back, I've gone for Gael Clichy, another long-serving Arsenal player. Went the same place as Sanya, actually. Went over to Man City. Now playing in the Turkish league there. Again, great player. Just embraced the club for such a long time. And he was really our only option at left back for some time. I mean, we got Gibbsy, but Gibbsy was always injured on and off. And yeah, Clichy was some player really key to have in the team. On the right, I've gone for Mesut Ozil, one of the, obviously, Arsene's probably one of the most expensive signings under Arsene Wenger. He came in from, I mean, it was a heroic signing because he wasn't even at like bad terms at Real Madrid. He was still getting into their team, and we managed to turn him away. And I think what we did for Ozil is sort of put him under the spotlight a little bit more. And I do think with Ozil, he's still adjusting to that. He was very used to sort of just being a kind of, you know, I want to say like a background player at Real Madrid, where he did do well, but I think the pressure wasn't on him as such, whereas now he knows he's one of our best players, and I think it does get to him. I think it does get to him sometimes. And that's not me trying to excuse some of his performances, especially when you look at this season, you know, not being good enough. But when he does deliver, an absolutely insane player with unique vision that is just beyond belief, you know, and it's really a pleasure to watch him on his day. Next up, talk about pleasure to watch and a pass master, Cesc Fabregas, absolutely insane player, another captain at one point. Broke our hearts when he left for Barcelona, but we knew that it was coming. We did know it was coming. And then apparently the grass wasn't greener on his homeland in Spain, and he came back over to Chelsea, which again warranted a lot of sort of criticism. But I think most Arsenal fans have come to forgive him as of late. Me included. He's definitely won me back over, because I do truly believe that there is a large place in his heart that still belongs to Wenger and Wenger's Arsenal and Arsenal Football Club. But yeah, I think Cesc has a lot of his career to thank Arsene Wenger for, because he definitely helped him come a long way. In midfield, I've gone for Patrick Vieira, obviously an absolute legend of this football club, another Frenchie. Of course, he did like his fellow Frenchman, Arsene Wenger did. An insane player, another captain, actually. Yeah, his battles with Roy Keane are something that I don't think I could ever forget. Just a hero, an absolute hero on the field. Robert Perez, one of my favourite number 7s of Arsenal Football Club. Fantastic, another Frenchie again, another Frenchman. Still works at the club as well, actually, but I mean, you just got to look at some of his goals to see what a player he was. An absolute, you know, not to keep quoting FIFA, but an absolute icon of the club. It would be rather stupid to do this video and not mention this guy, Thierry Henry. Probably Wenger's best ever signing yet, I'm gonna say, in terms of what he went on to become. I look at him and I think, like, to think that he was once someone that nobody knew. We bought him from, was it like Juventus? And everybody was like, yeah, he's decent. And then he went on to become a legend, an absolute legend for the club. Broke records and just insane, just an absolutely insane player and a true legend of the club. Again, broke my heart in 2006 when he left. So much heartbreak with this team right now. Dennis Bergkamp. Now, Wenger didn't buy Bergkamp, but he was obviously manager of him for a very short while. And yeah, you know, Bergkamp, I was unfortunate to not see the best of Bergkamp. When I was sort of old enough to watch football and stuff, Bergkamp was a little bit past his best, which was a shame. It really was a big shame, because I would have loved to have watched this guy at his best. But nevertheless, another legend of Arsenal Football Club, and someone who does still thank Wenger for obviously the time that he spent at the club, and for Wenger sort of sticking by him, I guess. Moving on to our bench now, we've got Per Mertesacker. Now, Mertesacker, I just want to kind of refresh everybody's minds. When you look back, Mertesacker was the kind of player that we were absolutely crying out for. Our defence was in tatters. We signed Mertesacker and it was changing. Like I say, he went on to have that season with Koscielny where they were the best centre-back pairing in the league. And that is just... it's just flipping insane, isn't it? He really did change things at Arsenal, and I'm really going to miss him. But it's good to see that he's going to carry on with the academy. And yeah, the BFG, what a great signing that was. Next up, I've gone for Nacho, one of my favourite players at Arsenal currently. Probably the most consistent, probably our best defender out of form at the minute. And yeah, I think Nacho Monreal is probably one of the most underrated players in that current Arsenal side, and one of Arsene Wenger's most underrated signings, because we didn't pay much for him, and when you look at how important he is to our team, you know, it goes a long way, really. Next up, we got the traitor, that is Samir Nasri. I was gutted when he left, and I thought he was doing so well with us, and he had he had a really good season with us, and then he just went, and it's like, hang on a minute, you know, you've been good for a season, why go? Went on obviously to win the league with Man City. He's kind of lost it a little bit now, playing in the Turkish league. He has a lot to thank Arsene Wenger for. He really does. I think the manner which he left the club was disgusting, but that can't take away the fact of what a great player he was. He had an absolutely astounding season, and he was good over the years as well. Of course he was, yeah. But you know, it's just annoying, really. You know, every time I look at Nasri, I almost feel a little bit sorry for him, because I know he went on to win the league, but I always think, if you'd have stayed, Samir, you know, you really could have become something at the club. And I just feel like he left before he'd even properly started. But a great player, and I thought he was worth a mention in the video. Of course, Robin van Persie has thanked Arsene Wenger a lot, actually, which is... he's won me back over, Robin van Persie has. I have to say again, yeah, he's won me back over. He did carry us. He was captain as well at one point, and a fantastic striker. I mean, some of his goals over the years for the club, just absolutely insane. And again, credit to Wenger, where credit's due, for bringing him in and having that faith in him and allowing him to become such a big player at the club. Next up, you might be surprised to see this guy, Aaron Ramsey. And do you know what? The main reason I've thrown him in is because of how he's flourished and how much he's become of a player under Arsene Wenger. I think this guy just shows you what Wenger can do. He came in from Cardiff, right, and he actually rejected Man United to come and play under Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, which for itself is just brilliant. Ramsey then, obviously, he was really a really promising player. Broke his leg at Stoke, and we all doubted him after that. Like, it was a very rocky patch for a while, and Wenger kept playing him, kept giving him game time, kept praising him, giving him, you know, putting his trust in him, putting his faith in him. And Ramsey now is probably one of our most solid midfielders at the club. And you know, it's safe to say he's definitely won us all back over. He scored the goal in the FA Cup final that won us the cup, which, you know, and that's what Arsene Wenger did. He when we all slated Ramsey, we were like, what the hell is he still doing at this club? Like, I know he's had a bad injury, but he's finished. And it seemed like he was finished. And just out of nowhere, this new Aaron Ramsey just came, and he basically went from a boy to a man at a club, and that's all under Wenger. And I'm not just bigging Wenger up here. I'm literally taking quotes from what players have said as well. You go read Ramsey's quotes about him yourself, and you guys will see just how much respect he has, and rightly so, because when literally probably everybody else doubted him, he was the one person over anyone else that had the absolute utmost faith in him. Next, I've gone for Senderos. Now, not our best defender over the years, but still a fairly consistent one. Was a big part of the club, and I was interested to see who's actually still playing over in the MLS. So yeah, scored some important goals for us actually for a defender. He did, Senderos. Johan de Joru, Arsenal's new motivator, it seems. Every time I go on Instagram, I always see him commenting on stuff, and he's like, come on, you Gunners, and all this. And he's currently playing in the Turkish league, Johan is. But yeah, a good player over the years. Again, not probably the most stable of centre-backs, but still worth noting, I think, under Wenger. Next up, we have Lucas Podolski. Wasn't at the club for an awful long time. However, again, he's one of them that Arsenal fans do still seem to follow and respect. One of the most powerful shots I've seen since like the Vermaelen days. Absolutely fantastic player. But again, for Wenger to bring in a player of his calibre, when a lot of people were after him when we bought him, he came to us like a World Cup winner. So that's just phenomenal to have that in the club. And yeah, we did a really good job keeping hold of him and not letting him go, to bitter rivals. I know Tottenham were after him at one point. Santi Cazorla, again, another player hindered by injuries, but what a cracking buy he was. It was changing. It was absolutely changing in our midfield when we signed this guy. The tiki-taka football is just that he played was just insane. I hope to see him play again for the club one day. It's so sad to see him out because he's such a talented player. And I'd give anything to see him play again for the club, and have a good season, a full fit season with us once more. Of course, I go on to talk about Alexis Sanchez. Another good buy, and he actually, in fairness, he did thank Wenger. He did say he had a lot to thank Wenger for. Sanchez, when he was at Barca, obviously in his last season, he was becoming a little bit kind of, just average, and nobody really. A lot of people wanted him. Don't get me wrong, but when you look back and think he wasn't up there with Messi, and obviously they'd signed Suarez, and they'd got I think they got Pedro as well at the time, Neymar, and it was kind of like they just, he wasn't a standout player. And Arsene Wenger brought him into Arsenal. It was a big risk. It was a huge risk. And he hit the ground running. He was brilliant for us. And it's just so sad to see what happened. But I appreciate the fact that he was with us when we won the FA Cup and stuff. And he was part of that, which is good. And I can kind of respect him a little bit. And, more so because he has thanked Arsene as well and Arsenal for helping him. Obviously, be where he is now. Next up, I've got Giroud. Now, the reason I put this guy in, I absolutely love Giroud, for those of you who don't know. Most of you will probably be rolling your eyes right now. But yeah, I do love Ollie. I'm still gutted that he's not at the club anymore, and I think Wenger was as well. I think, obviously, Wenger knowing that his time was going to be up, I think he probably wanted Giroud kept with him, and it must be sad actually for Giroud to think that was, he didn't know it, but he did actually participate in Wenger's last season. The reason I put Giroud in is because he came to us at a time where we absolutely needed him. We just lost Van Persie. We gained Giroud and Podolski, and between them, they did really well. Giroud then had he had huge boots to fill, and it's, you know, it's no lie that Giroud isn't world class, but he still did well. He still managed significantly well, and he was the only decent striker that we had for a while, obviously, until the signing of Lacazette and later on Aubameyang. But yeah, guys, absolutely. When you look back at who Giroud was, again, he came from pretty much just being an average player in the French league. He was top scorer, yeah, fair enough, but so was bloody Yaya Sanogo, for God's sake. You know, he just came from just being in the French league, and just he had massive boots to fill, and I think he did a really good job. And I don't know many Arsenal fans that feel too angry towards him. Obviously, he just left because he needed more game time, and he's had that at Chelsea. He's done well at Chelsea, and he's managed to get himself in the French squad. Last but not least, I've gone for, I'm just checking he was last, Wojciech Szczesny. Szczesny always continues to just fill this massive divide between Arsenal fans. Like, some people loved him, some people hated him. I liked Szczesny. I thought he was a good young individual. He came through our academy. Wenger gave him the chance. He then, I think the main reason Szczesny left was because I think his confidence fell to absolute pieces. I think that was very clear. I will never forget Szczesny's double save against Liverpool, a penalty from Suarez. He saved the penalty, then saved the rebound again. Szczesny's performances when we beat Barcelona 2-1, this was when Szczesny was just breaking through as well. And I think Szczesny became part of the change of our goalkeeping situation as well, because like I said about Czech, like before we had Czech, you know, we were struggling because of Szczesny, and everybody else was struggling. But before Szczesny came in, we literally had the most pants goalkeepers going, and it was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. So it was good to see Szczesny come in, this young prospect from the academy, doing well, and he had a good loan move out as well. Been out to Juventus. He made some good saves for them, played some good games for Juventus, and it's good to see. And I thoroughly wish Szczesny the best. But I know for a fact that Szczesny always has had the absolute utmost respect for Arsene Wenger for enabling him to be, you know, where he is now. That does bring me to the end of this video, guys. I understand there's going to be some players that you're not happy with being in here. There'll be players that you will agree with, and there'll be players that I've missed out as well. I do know that, but it's just a bit of fun, guys, so please don't take it too seriously. I've given my honest opinions anyway on most of these guys, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like rating on the video. If you could subscribe if you're not already subscribed, that would mean a great deal to me as well, guys. And of course, drop any comments that you've got for me as well in the comment section. With all of that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.